Good morning, Sainers. Welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the round 18 match preview. We take on the Adelaide Crows, the Crom, at Adelaide Oval on Saturday night primetime football, 7:30 p.m. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be flying over. Very, very excited to get down to Adelaide again. Last time was Gather Round. This time, a big game on Saturday night against the Crom. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's been a good week. As we know as Saints fans, we surprised the ladder leaders in the Sydney Swans on Sunday at 3:20 in another big primetime slot. And we shocked the footy world and we got the chocolates by 2 points. And there's so much to be optimistic about going into this game. Outside of obviously Marcus Winhager, who will miss for some time. But we've got troops that can come in. We've got Garcia. We've got Seb Ross. There's so many players. Even Max Hall. Do we debut Max Hall this week? There's exciting question marks in the air at the moment. And I guess the opportunity here is to back it up. And back it up in a hostile environment, away from home, on a big ground, a nice spacious ground where we can run and spread and play the way that we played against the Sydney Swans that worked so effectively in that second half. And I've watched a lot during the week about, experts dissecting the way we played and whether we played faster than normal, or what did we do. And it was a matter of hitting targets at the end of the day. It was hitting the target that was there. These are targets that have been there all season that we've gone for, and we've not executed correctly. The other thing is actually kicking straight in front of goal, 13 goals, 6. So we hit targets in general play. That obviously then meant going inside 50 was going to be a lot smoother. I didn't know that we were like number 3 for scores or, generated sort of inside 50 scores from rebounds. So there's a lot that we're doing right in terms of getting the ball from the back line to the forward line. It's then that next kick into the forward line that's been such a difficult one for us all season. But getting it to that point, we've not been slow. We're doing it in 2 or 3 kicks. We're, I think, top 5 for handball chains or handball receives. There's a lot of attacking numbers that are starting to, I guess, come to the surface now, based on the win on the weekend, that if we carry that into this game, we're absolutely a chance to win. Adelaide have been probably the biggest disappointment of the season. I thought they would be a top 4, top 8 team after last season, especially with the way that they play at home. They're sort of that, I kind of saw Adelaide Oval being a fortress for them, like the Gabba is to Brisbane. I thought they'd be really almost impossible to beat in front of their home fans. Not been the case this year. They've had a lot of close games, similar to us. I'm just looking at their fixture now. They lost to Gold Coast by 6 points. They beat Carlton by 2 points. They lost to Essendon by 3 points. They lost to Melbourne by 15. They drew to Brisbane the first time they played. They lost to Collingwood by 4 points. They lost to Richmond by 8 points at Adelaide Oval, which was a shocker. They got pants by Sydney. They beat GWS, and they only marginally lost to Brisbane at the Gabba on the weekend by 11 points. But the big news is that their star boy in Isaac Rankin has been slapped with a 4-game suspension, which is terrible for them, fantastic for us. Usually it's the other way around, where he's finishing his 4-game suspension and returning against the Saints. Not the case this week. He's the sort of player that, over the years we've seen gets hold of us, sort of those medium-sized small forwards and midfielders. They just get hold of us, and he's that X factor. He's that explosiveness out of the contest, and without him, that just makes the game even more even for me. One less, explosive player for us to man up on. But outside of that, our backline's been solid. Their forward line is obviously one of their biggest strengths, I think. I've got the numbers here in front of me. Let's look at average goals per game. Rankin was their highest average goals per game player, averaging 2 per game. Darcy Fogarty, 1.8. Taylor Walker, always a problem for us, 1.6. But you think Cal Wilkie or Dougal Howard can take care of that. Fogarty, they can rotate maybe Josh Battle as well. Then you've got Rochelle, Keys, 1.3. Himmelberg, 1.2. The player on the ground for both teams that's averaging the most goals per game this season is Jack Higgins, 2.1. So Jack Higgins is in very good form this season, considering he's kicked more goals than so many, touted small forwards this season. He's on 27, and he missed 3 games with a ridiculous suspension. You'd imagine where he might be if he actually played those 3 games. He'd be in the high 30s. Outside of that, like the average fantasy, Rowan Marshall is number 1 ranked player on the ground. Jordan Dawson is a big worry because he's a beautiful ball user. There's other players that you worry about, but it's certain players in certain teams where if the ball's in their hands more times than not, they're going to be hurting you. And Jordan Dawson, to me, is one of those players. He is a very, very good player. High meters gained, high effectiveness per disposal, can hit the scoreboard if you give him a chance. So we need to keep an eye out for him. We know Rory Laird. We know they've got sort of, bottom tier players that just do the job in, sort of Hinge, Shoal. Like they're very good players, but like Saligo, Worrell, yeah. But we've got players coming into form now. So it's not a game that I'm looking at thinking, oh, we need to stop them. And I loved that about us on the weekend. We went into the game, we threw the tag away, we didn't decide to do that. Put Windy at halfback, and we thought, let's go for it. Let's play man on man. Let's beat them, at every contest. Just take each contest as it comes. If we make a mistake, we move to the next one. And Ross talked about that in his press conference. So this game I see as being no different. Obviously, it's away from home, so we're going to be in that sort of hostile environment. But to be honest, we've travelled pretty well this season. I haven't, it's not like we've won every game we've travelled, but we haven't been embarrassed. We've been to the Gabba and we weren't embarrassed. We've been to Tassie and we lost by 5 points to Hawthorn, who that was pretty much as their run started and they hit some form. GWS by a point. Who else? We went to the Cattery, put in a very good effort there. We've been to the West and we beat West Coast when they were kind of in a bit of form. Not so much now, but you get my point is that we've been travelling pretty well. Like there's always a couple of games a year where we travel and we get pantsed. And this year it hasn't happened. Our problems have been more in Melbourne than they've been away from home. So it's a good opportunity for us now after hitting some form to travel, get away. And I don't know. I think we should be really bullish in this game. I think Adelaide, obviously on their day, are very good. And they've gotten up for the big games themselves. Adelaide, when you look at their fixtures, when they've played sort of the higher ranked teams, they've been really, really good and competitive outside of the Sydney game where they got pantsed. But when they're playing teams sort of around them or below them, outside of Richmond, they generally perform pretty well and they kick high scores and they win. So we are above them on the ladder. I found it very interesting to see that when I looked at the ladder, every team in the bottom half of the 8 was playing a team in the 8, except Adelaide and St Kilda, who are playing each other. So we're the only team outside the 8 playing a team below them on the ladder, I believe, unless I'm making that up. But it's a huge opportunity. In terms of ins and outs, I think Bonner can return. There's Seb Ross that can return, who had a good game at VFL. I'd love to see Garcia or Max Hall as well. The outs, you'd think Ben Patton was a sub. I thought that was very odd. So I don't think he should get elevated into the starting lineup. And I'm not sure if he's a sub type of player. I just don't see the value there. So probably Winhager and Patton out for, say, experience in maybe Bonner and Garcia, or I don't know, Seb Ross and Hall. I don't know. I think that's the 3 or 4 there that we can pick from. I don't think anyone outside of that is a chance. I think those are the guys. Brad Crouch is just TBC forever, so I don't think that's going to be happening. So Seb Ross, Max Hall, Garcia, Bonner. Those are the 4 that can come in for maybe 2 positions, I think. So comment your thoughts, Sanders. Let me know what you're thinking about this game. I'm very excited. I'll be there. I'll be on the hill. So if you're around and you're on the hill as well, get behind the boys, wear your colours. Let's make some noise. And if we bring this game home, I mean, building some little bit of momentum there going into West Coast at Marvel. And then we've got a stretch of 6 straight games at Marvel. So no disrespect to Adelaide. I think on their day, they're very dangerous. And if we give them a sniff, obviously, with the home ground advantage and the crowd, they're going to be up for it. Saturday night as well. It's a big opportunity, and I'm really excited to see how we tackle this, this game as well. So thanks, guys. Enjoy your week. There'll be some more content. The team's out Thursday night with Jaden and the crew. They'll be talking about the lineup. And obviously the podcast just dropped, Footy Abroad, Saints TV Weekly, Saints TV Live. Hopefully some interviews from today's members event with Ari and maybe a player or 2. So keep an eye out for that on all the socials, and some competitions. So stay tuned for those as well. So enjoy your week, Sainers. Take care. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.